Welcome everybody to this workshop. Thank you so much for registering, and this will be a workshop on hypertension, high BP, information, causes, symptoms, remedies, yogic remedies, and I want to introduce you to Dr. Priyanvada Risbud. She is the consulting doctor over here. She is consulting in Ayurveda, and she has been practicing for the last 20 years, and she has a lot of experience. So welcome to Priyanvada Risbud, Dr. Priyanvada Risbud. Thank you for joining. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen. Before that, we will have Prarthana, okay? We will have Prarthana. So everybody, please sit straight, join your palms, close your eyes. We are going to chant Omkar 3 times. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankhachakrasidharinam sahasrashirsam shvetam pranamami patanjalim harihi om. Rub your palms. Keep them on your eyes. Okay, let's get started. So, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we are having a workshop on hypertension. Let me introduce myself a little bit. I have completed my MSc in yoga therapy, and I have also cleared the level 3 yoga teacher and evaluator exam, which is certified by the Ministry of Ayush. Okay. Before that, I have also done a teacher training course in Yog Vidya Gurukul, Nashik. And I have been teaching yoga, taking classes, taking workshops for the past about 7 to 8 years. Okay. So I'm in this field for past 7 years. Let's go ahead. So we are at hypertension means we are dealing with the circulatory system of the body. So the body has many 7-8 systems inside it, just like digestive system, nervous system, respiratory system. So when we are saying that we are talking about hypertension, we are actually dealing with the circulatory system of the body. Okay. So circulatory system consists of the heart and the veins and the arteries. Okay. So the red color is of the 1 minute. The red color is for the arteries and the blue colored are the veins. Okay. So this is actually what it is, a transport system of the body. Just like there is a city and there are roads, and through the roads everything travels accordingly. There is a heart which pumps the blood and it travels through the veins and the arteries all over the body. Okay. Why is it not working? So what does it transport? Now we are saying that it is a transport system. So actually the blood is getting transported. Basic thing is that the blood is flowing through the body. Now what does the blood take? The blood takes nutrients. Okay. So nutrients, whatever we eat, vitamin A, vitamin B, it converts and then it supplies all the nutrients to the body. Then it supplies oxygen from the lungs, the blood. Okay. Then it supplies hormones. The most important thing is that all the hormones which are produced in our brain, in all the different kinds of glands that we have all over the body. So there are about 7 to 8 glands in our body. These are producing hormones, and the hormones are responsible to control our body systems, mechanisms, metabolism. Okay. So these hormones are transported through the blood. Enzymes are transported through the blood. Then carbon dioxide is also transported back to the lungs and outside. Okay. Then waste products. These all waste products are thrown out by all the cells in our body, and they are collected inside the blood, the impure blood in the veins, and then they are transported back to the heart. And most of all, the water is also transported through the blood. So all these things are very important. They are transport system, the entire transport system. Now what are the functions? So the function of the blood is to supply oxygen to the body, to supply nutrients to the body, transport of CO2, carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs, then to transport the waste products from tissues to kidneys for excretion. So see, it is such an important thing. What happens if one day there is no waste cleared in the house? It starts decaying, right? Similarly, this is very important part where the waste product is transported back to the from the tissues to the kidneys, and then it is excreted out. To regulate temperature, most important thing is to regulate the temperature of the body and distribution of hormones and other chemicals. These are the functions that the blood is conducting. Just a minute. Okay. So basically, the heart is a pump. Okay. The heart is actually a pump. So now Dr. Priyanvada will tell how the blood is circulated through the heart. Dr. Priyanvada, please.
Okay. So basically for hypertension, that is the blood pressure, it is maintained by the pressure which the heart pumps the blood. Okay. So the functioning of the basic heart, we have to know. It is very simple. I'll try to make it simple for everybody. The right side of our heart contains the impure blood. That is non-oxygenated blood. We call it impure. It's not exactly impure, it's just non-oxygenated. Okay, the right side contains the blue colored, that is the non-oxygenated blood. Left side contains the oxygenated blood. Okay, and the heart has 4 chambers basically. 2 top chambers are known as atrium. The atrium, the only function is to collect the blood. So the right atrium collects the blood from the body completely, the impure blood. And the left atrium collects the blood from the lungs. And the ventricles are the main things which push the blood. So the right ventricle pushes the blood to the lungs, and the left ventricle pushes the blood to the whole body. So these two are responsible for the blood pressure. Whatever the blood pressure happens, they pump the blood, and because of that pumping action, it needs strength. Our heart is a muscle, basically. So it contracts and relaxes. It contracts and relaxes. We all know our heart beats. Okay, so the contraction and relaxation of the heart is what causes the blood pressure. So we normally have a blood pressure. Hypertension is when the blood pressure increases. Okay, so that happens when the left ventricle, basically the blood pressure we measure is of the arteries, of the pure blood vessels. Okay, so the left ventricle, the pressure with which the left ventricle pushes the blood into the arteries, and the pressure that blood creates on the walls of the arteries. It has a resistance. The walls of the arteries have a resistance. Okay, they resist that pressure. So that is what is measured. That is the that is the blood pressure. Okay, so the left ventricle pushes the pure blood into the aorta, and then it goes all over the body. Okay, so that is basically the mechanism of the blood pressure, how it happens. This portion, that is the left ventricle, contracts for a few seconds. Now, all of this happens within 0.8 seconds continuously. Okay, so that is 72 beats per hour. So our heart pushes the blood 72 times into the aorta in 1 minute. Okay, so 72 beats per minute. This left ventricle is contracting. That is called the systolic. So when it contracts, there is more blood in the vessels, so there is more pressure. So that is called the higher point. So generally, normally 120 is the higher point. It is measured as mm of mercury. Hg is mercury. So mm of Hg, 120 mm of Hg. By that pressure is that is the pressure by which it is thrown into the arteries. Okay, and the ventricle, when it relaxes, that is called the diastole. Okay, so that is called, all of this takes place in 0.8 seconds and keeps on going all our life. Okay, so the next I'll hand over to Vaishali ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So what Dr. Priyanvada told us is when the heart contracts, at that time the blood is pushed in the artery. Okay, main artery is known as aorta. So the big artery, the heart contracts from the left ventricle. This is known as systole, and the pressure is the highest. So it can be from 90 to 140 mm of Hg. Okay, so when the heart is contracting, that time it is the pressure is the highest, and then the heart relaxes. Okay, heart relaxes, and then the pressure reduces. So the pressure reduces, the lower pressure is normally from 60 to 90. It is called the diastole. So the average normal blood pressure, as told by the doctors, is 120/80, that we all know. And normal resting heartbeat. So if we are not running, we are not walking, we are just sitting and doing nothing, then our normal heartbeat should be 60 to 80 beats per minute. So the average of that comes to 72 beats. Okay, so some might have 60, some might have 65. It's okay. Average is 72 beats per minute. So every minute the heart is beating at the rate of 80 beats or 60 beats or 72 beats Okay, so understand what is happening to the heart. So the average cardiac output, how much blood, volume of the blood that it is pumping out is 5.5 liters per minute. So the heart processes 5.5 liters of blood every minute. Every minute, okay? So then what happens in blood pressure? Okay, now that what we saw was the normal pressure. Okay, if pressure is not there, then there will be no transport only. So there has to be some pressure that you have to understand. So, but see, now what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the force or pressure with which the heart pumps blood through arteries and allows blood to reach various parts of the body. So what I said was that there has to be pressure. It doesn't mean that there is no pressure. There should not be any pressure. There has to be some pressure. So what happens when the heart contracts, when systolic blood pressure, so pressure is greatest and it is pumped within 0 to 3 seconds. Okay, in 3 seconds, the heart will contract and push the blood out. Okay, and diastolic, so pressure is lower between 0 to 5 seconds. So when it is relaxing, the heart relaxes for 5 seconds only. And again, it will start pumping. Okay, so 3 seconds, for 3 seconds, it pumps, it contracts, and 5 up to 0 to 5 seconds, it will relax. Okay, this is the regular of our blood, our heart. So the heart relaxes in the diastolic in these 5 seconds. So total cardiac cycle lasts for 0.8 seconds. Okay, seconds. Without this pressure, the blood cannot supply oxygen and food nutrients effectively. What happens? Blood pressure increases during stress. So now we will see what exactly happens. But blood pressure decreases during the rest period. Okay, this is the phenomena that the heart goes through. So supposing one time you are having some stress, so the blood pressure will increase for that particular moment. Then it is expected to come back to its normal 8.8 second cycle. Okay, when you are resting. So when there is, when do we say that there is hypertension? So mildly pre-hypertensive is in normal course without medicines. This is very important. If without medicines, your blood pressure is between 130 to 139 and 80 to 89, it is said that you are mildly pre-hypertensive. Then when it is moderate, it is greater than 140 and 90. Okay, lower is 90, greater than 90, and higher is above 140. This is without medicines. Okay, with medicines it comes down, then you say that no, my blood pressure is 130, 90. That is not what we are saying here. We are saying without medicines, if your blood pressure is this, it is moderate. And when you say it is very high, so it is greater than 180 and 100, between lower is between 100 to 120. So what happens in blood pressure? Sorry. The systole, it pumps harder, okay, because there is harder, more pressure. So 0 to 3 seconds, in this 0 to 3 seconds also, it is expected that more blood, harder, the heart is supposed to be pumped. And in the diastole, it relaxes less. Out of 0.5, it becomes 0.4. So it becomes more of pumping action, less of relaxation. More of pumping, less relaxation. The more you get stressed, the more this cycle reduces. So instead of relaxing for 0.5 seconds, it relaxes for 0.4 seconds. And then the entire cycle becomes 0.7. Okay, this is one time when you are having stress. Okay, After that, it should come down, it should relax, and it should become normal. But what happens here is when you keep on having continuous stress entire time, then this 0.7 seconds becomes the new normal. So the heart feels that this is what is expected, and this it keeps on pumping. Instead of coming back to normal, it keeps on pumping for 0.6 seconds. Now if the stress increases, it will reduce again this cycle of 0.7, it will again reduce 0.6, that way. And this is how the heart comes under pressure. So he understood the process of this pumping. So when in stress, heart starts pumping faster and the time of the cardiac cycle changes from 0.8 seconds to 0.7 seconds. After the stress is reduced, the heart normally comes back to the normal cardiac cycle. However, when there is continuous stress, the heart gets less time to relax. So the cardiac cycle eventually changes after a long time. It takes a few years. Eventually changes to the new normal, which is the 0.7 seconds. Imagine this happening over a long period of time, years together. What will happen to the heart? So it will always be under pressure, always come under pressure. So let us see now. So we have seen how hypertension happens. So let us see what are the primary causes. Primary causes are maybe after aging, the heart becomes tired and you start getting hypertension. It might be hereditary, and smoking increases the blood pressure. Your diet, if you're consuming maybe high cholesterol diet or maybe junk food is more, then naturally it affects your heart. Obesity, air pollution, food allergies. Okay. Sometimes what happens, the food allergies are like, it doesn't suit your heart, certain things. Sometimes you get an allergy of that thing. So that also might cause hypertension. In the secondary causes, what happens actually is we don't exercise, we just sit at home or in the office. So both ways, at home also, in office also, we have a sitting job, and then exercise is lacking. Okay. Then main issue is of stress. Thirdly, due to high cholesterol, there is contraction of aorta. The aorta starts becoming smaller, and then the pressure, the less amount of blood passes through the aorta, and the heart has to pump harder for the blood to flow. Okay. Then if you have any renal disease, it might affect your hypertension or blood flow. Then if you have any endocrine disease, glandulars, whatever glands we have, in case you have a problem in your metabolism, then also it might affect your heart, it might affect your hypertension. Or if you are going through some hormone therapy, side effects might be that you might get the hypertension or high BP. Non-functioning of blood vessels. So blood vessels, if they don't function, they don't push, they don't flow properly, then also there is a possibility that you might get hypertension. Sometimes some ladies, they might get hypertension, high BP in pregnancy. And in case of if you are having drugs, then also your heart is definitely affected. Okay, these are the main causes of hypertension. Now, this is very important. In 90 to 95% cause is unknown. You don't know the cause. And this is a silent killer. So you don't know that you are having high BP until you really have some trouble. Okay, it doesn't give you any symptoms. So you need to check, go for regular checkups every year after the age of 35, or at least every 2 years up till the age of say 55. You need to monitor your body. You need to have regular checkups. You feel, I won't get anything. What is wrong with me? I am nice, hale and hearty. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't show that it is you are having any problem in the body. It doesn't come out unless it is detected by the machine. What you will feel is maybe a little bit more tired, little bit more sleepy. All these are small things, you start going through, but you don't realize it until it is really too late. So it is always very important for you to go for a checkup. Everybody above the age of 60 should go every year. Above the age of 35 should go at least once in 2 years. Okay, this is very important. It is a silent killer. So what happens to the body? So I think Dr. Priyanvada can take up this more better way.
Okay. Okay. So what happens to the body when we have high blood pressure? Okay. So where high blood pressure, basically it is the problem of the heart and the arteries. So it adds to the it adds to the workload of the heart. Just a moment. I've got this thing. Okay. It adds to the workload of the heart. Definitely, see, it's a basic mechanical problem over here. If you get more resistance, you try pushing something against resistance, you have to work harder. So the heart needs more strength, the ventricles need to contract more, and they need more pressure. Okay, so the pressure increases. Then other body organs also get affected because basically because of the hypertension, there is a resistance. The blood does not reach them properly. There is peripheral resistance. Peripheral means our circulation in the outer parts of the body, in the further from the heart. Okay, so as the BP increases, as the heart gets affected, there is less peripheral circulation going on. So all the nutrients don't reach everywhere properly. All the other body organs also, then what happens is our body, it works like a machine. Okay, so it has a feedback mechanism. So in that mechanism, what happens is you get this and then you say, okay, I have got this, I don't need it anymore. Okay, so what happens is the organs, they give a negative feedback to the heart. And then the heart also says, okay, this thing has reached there more because it has pushed more, it has reached there, it doesn't need it anymore. Okay, so the arteries over there start getting contracted. That mainly happens in kidneys. Kidneys are both the target organ for the hypertension, plus they cause hypertension also. So what happens is the arteries, they contract. Because the arteries contract, blood pressure increases. And then because the blood pressure increases, the heart has to work harder. And the heart gets tired. And because the heart gets tired, the nutrients don't reach the target organs. Okay, so what happens is you will get less of oxygen. The organs will start getting less oxygen over there. So that will create increased risk of stroke. The brain starts getting less oxygen. Now, sometimes the arteries, there's a brain has a very sensitive circulation. The vessels are very small because the space in the skull is very less. So the vessels have to be very thin and small over there. So because of the increased pressure, sometimes the walls of the vessels, they become thin. And then you have heard of brain hemorrhage, okay, because of blood pressure. So that happens because the walls of the vessels become thin, and because the blood pressure has increased, sometimes there can be a burst over there. So brain hemorrhage can cause stroke, or sometimes the arteries have contracted and the less blood is there, the arteries have thickened. Sometimes the arteries thicken. Okay, so they transport less blood. So less blood is there, then you have again less blood supply. So that will again lead to stroke and congestive heart failure. What happens is the heart has a separate blood supply. The heart muscle has a separate blood supply. Does not mean that there is blood in the heart, so it gets the blood. It's not like that. So the heart, coronary arteries and coronary veins are there. So they supply and take blood from the heart. They become thicker. There is blockage because of obesity, because of cholesterol. So the blood, there is not enough amount of blood going to these organs. So then you get heart attack. Same thing happens with kidney. There is not enough blood going into the kidney to get purified. So the kidney starts stopping the blood over there. It starts collecting the sodium. It starts stopping the water over there. Okay, because it perceives, it sees in its mind's eye that there is less blood coming. So we should conserve whatever blood is there. So then the sodium starts absorbing the water, and there is water retention, and that creates more volume, and that creates more blood pressure. And diabetes, the insulin interferes with the glucose, and more glucose in the blood, there is less nutrients. Okay, so it becomes a vicious cycle everywhere. So the total functioning of all organs is affected because of chronic hypertension. This is not immediate. This happens over a lot of years if it is neglected. Okay, I think that should cover it all.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Dr.
Welcome.
Priyanvada. So we saw, see, we have written down all this. It doesn't mean it is going to happen to you. Okay. So your body might be dealing with all these things slowly, but this is the end result. This, what we are saying, is the end result. If you don't take care of your body, if you don't, if I told you, like diet, lifestyle changes. So we will see again what happens, what we must do. We must have some lifestyle changes in our life. Okay. First thing is, in case you are overweight or obese, you need to do weight loss. Okay. Secondly, you need to restrict your salt intake. Then no alcohol consumption to those who consume. To those who don't consume, it is not applicable. And you need to have a sattvic diet. Very spicy, very oily, very salty. No. You, even if you feel you want to eat, but you must restrict your intake. Okay. This is very important. 50% is dependent on your diet and 50% on your physical activity, asanas. These asanas are, see, you will say, I walk every day. So what is the problem? Why do I want to do asanas only? So asanas are specific postures. Okay. They will stimulate specific parts of your body. Walking is good. Half an hour walking every day is very good for the body. But they, what asanas will do, walking will not give you. Okay. Walking will give you good benefits, but asanas will enhance the circulatory. There are asanas to stimulate the circulatory system, to stimulate the nervous system. Proper targeted asanas are extremely effective. Okay. Second thing, you know that you need to relax the heart. Now we know what has happened to the heart. So we need to relax the heart. How will your heart relax? When you do proper breathing, controlled breathing, and you go forward with specific pranayam. So for hypertensive people, all pranayam is not applicable. Fast pranayam like Bhasrika and Kapalbhati, they are not applicable. So we must know which pranayam is applicable, which pranayam is not applicable. And controlled breathing will automatically regulate the heart flow. Okay. And most of all important is meditation and yoga nidra, because of which your stress is going to get released. Okay, it is a stress relief mechanism. It works on your subconscious mind. Okay, just a minute, huh? Just a minute. My camera has switched off. Okay. So here we are. So meditation will bring back the 0.8 seconds cycle. Okay, bring back the cycle which is required. And also Yoga Nidra will work on the subconscious level, the unconscious. See, we have three states of consciousness. Okay, so for one is that normal, we are behaving and acting and everything. Okay, that is the normal acting stage, waking stage, it is said. The second one is the subconscious, something which is in the subconscious, we are not able to access it, but in Yoga Nidra, we will be able to access it and release our stress. Sometimes there is subconscious stress of something which has happened long time back. How to release that stress? That is released through meditation and Yoga Nidra. Okay. There is also unconscious mind, but I won't go to that now. But the stress release mechanism is more from Yoga Nidra. So relaxation and meditation is very effective. You must live a yogic lifestyle. There has to be an attitudinal change in the lifestyle, as it is psychosomatic. So what do you mean by psychosomatic? You know, everybody knows now about COVID. Okay. So how did COVID come? It came from outside, no? Outside the body. There is no COVID inside the body. Somebody came and there it is an infectious disease from outside. But blood pressure is not coming from outside anywhere, no? It is from inside, it is happening inside the body. Okay, so internal problems of the body like hypertension, diabetes, back pain, neck pain, spine problems, you know, all these are internal allergies. These are internal body problems happening because of some disturbance in the mind level. Okay, so mind is disturbed, and that is why it is affecting your body. That is why we say that it is psychosomatic. So what does yoga teach you? So yoga teaches to experience. So what happens? I'll tell you. You sleep at night. So you say that, yes, I am taking rest. Sometimes you get up also stiff. You sleep also in a stiff position. And that is not called rest. Okay. The mind has to be rested, not just the body. This, you have to experience it. So this experience of relaxation, in Yoga Nidra, you will get 6 hours of relaxation in 40 minutes. Okay, Yoga Nidra gives you 6 hours of complete relaxation, as if you have slept for 6 hours. It will give you in 40 minutes of Yoga Nidra. It gives you joy and satisfaction. So you have to bring about a basic change in your attitude towards the right living. That is what is most important. So what are the asanas and exercises for hypertension? First things, we will loosen all the joints. What are the joints? From starting from neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, waist, knees, and ankles. So here we start loosening. Okay, the joints are mostly stiff. So what happens? See, we get all numb in the corners, in the fingertips, in the toes. We start getting numb. Why do we get numb? Because the blood supply is not reaching to that part of the body. So when the blood supply does not reach, the nutrients do not reach, the hormones do not reach, the enzymes do not reach, vitamins do not reach. So what we are doing here is we are loosening up our joints so that blood flow will go properly, will become regularized. Then we stretch and relax muscles through asanas like Ardhakati Chakrasana, side bending, okay, forward bending, backward bending, side bending. These are all stretches and relaxations. Okay. So what they do is they improve the power and develop stamina. So these, when we do stretching and relaxing, they improve the power and develop our stamina. These things, Sukshma Vyayam, they will loosen up your joints. Then what are the asanas that we are going to do tomorrow? I'm going to show you. If you want, you can do with me, have a yoga mat along with you. We are going to do Vrikshasana, Tadasan, Garudasan, Trikonasan, Gomukhasan, Setubandhasan, Viparit Karni, Ardha Ushtrasan, Vakrasan, Marichasan, and Shavasan. So all these asanas I will do tomorrow, and I will explain the benefits of each and every asana. Okay, why we have taken this asana, what it does to the body, how it is related to the circulatory. These all asanas are related to, initially we saw circulatory system. So these are completely targeting the circulatory system. Okay, that is why we have taken these asanas. Okay, so here we are going to do pranayam. So sectional breathing in pranayam, which has to be done soundlessly. There are two types of sectional breathing. One is a little bit forcefully, which is called Ujjayi, and one is soundless. Without any sound, you must breathe. Then Anulom Vilom. Then we are going to do Chandra Anulom Vilom. First we will do Chandra Anulom Vilom. Then we will do Anulom Vilom. And we will do Bhramari. All these are completely relaxing asanas. Okay. Then we have meditation. We have Om. Now this meditation, I don't know whether we will have time to do tomorrow. I can take maybe 10-15 minutes of Yoga Nidra if you wish, but this takes time. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Each meditation, Yoga Nidra, Nadanusandhan, Satsanga, Bhakti Yoga, Bhajan, chanting, all these can be done in meditation. These are the types of meditation. But tomorrow we may not have that much time to do that. Okay, but we might take if you wish. Thank you very much. So we are taking questions now. I will stop sharing, and it is open for you to ask questions. I or Dr. Priyanvada, whoever is capable of replying to you, will reply to you. Okay. Thank you so much for attending. I hope it was useful to you. Okay, I will take meditation. Yes, please. Please raise your hand so that I can, because everybody will start talking immediately. Please raise your hand so that I will tell one by one and you can ask questions one by one. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay, Ashwini, ma'am, please go ahead, unmute yourself and start. Ask your question.
मेडिटेशन मध्ये आम्हाला जरा इंटरेस्ट आहे. ते मेडिटेशनच जरा सांगा त्यातलं.
उद्या सांग. Okay, I will take meditation. 10 to 15 minutes of meditation I will take more. Okay, that is done. Thank you. Anyone? Anything else you wish to ask? Or... Yes, sir. Shrikant, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much. I think in half an hour, you have given so much of useful information. and a lot of it is eye opener. We know it subconsciously, but I think it's hidden somewhere down, and we tend to push ourselves beyond our limit.
Yes.
And anyway, my question is, Doctor, is to you both and to Doctor individually, is that I put it in the course also. See, this COVID, all of us, I think, at least I went through COVID. My family has gone through COVID exactly last year. Are people actually seeing an impact of this after a year, especially on sugar readings, on the ability to cope up with stress? Because somewhere, it seemed to have mentally brought us down. We become a little more fragile.
Yeah.
At least that's as my personal experience, and I'm also seeing so many friends. My age is 55, and especially in the 50 to 58 age range, where you go through a lot of stress because of parents and your children, in-laws, etc., of their health, primarily because of health. Children are growing up, parents are somehow I feel that the ability to handle stress seem to have come down. As I think you explained beautifully, that externally we may look very strong, we don't cry, etc., etc., but I think internally खोकला केलाय आपल्याला असं मला वाटतंय. I just want some reaction to it. It will help perhaps.
Okay, Vaishali, you'll answer first.
Yeah, okay. Shrikant sir, now as the Modi government brought in the yoga as a complete separate field of study, there are studies going on regarding each and every aspect of COVID. Okay. And in hypertension, what happens is, in general, there is a tendency to take a stress. Okay. So there is no specific scientific study as much as I know. But there are studies going on, and they will be publishing all these studies. So there is a website called PubMed. So all the studies, they are being published, papers are being published nowadays in yoga field also. So all those papers are very, very informative. You might like to go through them. But in general, you see, what I'm saying is hypertension may have a little bit increased for people who are already having hypertension. They might have gone through a bit of anxiety or stress because of all this. There is a possibility. Dr. Priyanvada?
Okay. Yeah. See, basically what happened was COVID was something which was totally new to everybody, and it caused a lot of stress. It was not just the physical effects of COVID. Okay. There have been what I and my friends have experienced in practice. Lot of people have gone through tremendous stress due to COVID. And like you said, because of parents, old age people, they were worried about them. They were worried about themselves. So COVID has had a very huge psychological impact. And that has increased stress tremendously. Okay, people now, after 2.5 years, now they are coming to terms with that stress. So that has happened. What you say is true. That has happened. Plus, one more thing has happened is COVID. It was not just a respiratory infection. It has created some major complications in some people. So they manifest, those complications are manifested in different forms, in different organs, in different systems. So sometimes that has also caused people to not tolerate stress as much as they could before. So we need to go back to yoga, pranayam, meditation to get back our peace of mind. Okay, so there are ways we can get back to it. We will be forgetting it a little bit, but yes, COVID has had a major impact on how we handle stress or how much stress people. I have seen people who are not actually having any symptoms, but because of fear, they have panic attacks. Okay, so all that we have to handle now through yoga. And that is the best way, I think, rather than medicines to handle stress. I hope I've answered your question. Anything else?
No, fantastic. I think just you've just fortified what I'm seeing around
Yeah.
with my friends, and I spread this message a lot. Just say for example, in office, between don't take two calls together. Spread your time between two calls.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you are relaxing and keeping your closed eye in office.
Hmm.
Correct. People may come and say whatever, but doesn't matter because your body is your
Yeah.
own. Nobody will come to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one big lesson in COVID, that
Yes.
nobody's there to help you. It's you're of your own. And I
That
think
is
that's
there.
one of the biggest stress
That is,
that
yeah.
has come in our way. That
Yeah.
आपण एकुलताच एक आहे, कोणी नाही
Hmm.
आपल्याला.
Hmm.
काल
That has
काहीतरी
happened.
झालं आपल्याला, काहीच नाही, आपणच बघावं लागतं.
Yeah. That
हॉस्पिटलमध्ये
is,
जायचं, आम्हीच फोन करा. आधी कसं होतं, आपण नेबरला फोन करून, शेजारीला फोन करून सांगायचं, अरे जरा मदत कर रे बाबा, मला ड्रॉप कर हॉस्पिटलवरून, मला रात्री जायचं. आता
Hmm.
कोणी येणार नाही.
Hmm.
And
Fear
that is, I think, the
psychosis.
biggest
Yeah.
stress that has all creeped in today.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's just a fortification. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Anyone else?
I think chat box मध्ये आता कोणीतरी विचारलं, आहार कसा असावा. Okay. Vaishali ma'am, you are telling about आहार कसा असावा. Hello. Can you hear me? Hang झालंय. ओके, आहाराबद्दल कोणीतरी प्रश्न विचारलाय चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये. ओके, जसं सांगितलं वैशाली मॅमनी, आय थिंक हँग झालंय. वैशाली मॅमनी सांगितलं सात्विक डाएट इज द बेस्ट डाएट. ओके, तर योगामध्ये आपलं जे सात्विक डाएट सांगितलेलं आहे, दॅट इज द बेस्ट डाएट. ओके.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
Actually, what is normal blood pressure? Because there have been so many instances where people are saying that 180, I mean 80, 120 is normal. Sometimes people say 90, 140 is normal. And I think now the parameters are again changed. So actually, on what basis the parameters are changed? And then what happens? Because, I started my BP when I had actually no BP, in the sense the doctor used to tell me that you have to walk fast, come to my clinic, and then I will take BP. So according to me, it was naturally higher, on the higher side. And then he started me on medication, which according to me was was useless actually. But when you start the medication, now it's difficult to stop.
Yeah.
So what is normal blood pressure? I mean, that I have still not understood.
No, normal blood pressure would be basically after, you have to take it after 5 minutes after you are rested, actually. When you go to the doctor's clinic, you sit there for 5 minutes, and then after that, the blood pressure, and there are 2 readings which are taken. Normally, now I'll tell you what I do is, there's an effect called the white coat effect. Okay. Some people, the blood pressure gets raised when they see the doctor or when they step inside the clinic. Okay. So what happens is, we take the blood pressure, then we wait for around 10 to 15 minutes, and then we take the blood pressure again. Okay. 120/80 is the standard normal blood pressure all over the world, which is recommended just now. And that is, if you have to take medication, if you are prescribed medication, basically minimum 2 readings of higher BP should be there, and those should be at rest and at different times. So that shows a consistency that your blood pressure is high. Unless those 2 readings are there consecutively, so maybe you can have, if you want to wait, you can have a little bit more. Suppose if you have 130/80, then still you can wait. And it is also a little bit different age-wise. Okay, up to 50 years of age, 130/80 is considered normal. Okay, after 50 years of age, if it is 130/80, then 130/90, then you will be prescribed medication. So basically, we go on 2 to 3 readings minimum. Okay, and it should be after you have rested for at least 5 minutes.
Uh-huh. And how reliable are these digital,
Mm,
instruments?
no, we don't trust them so much.
Okay.
We go for the mercury one. Right
Uh-huh.
now, there is one more different one, but the doctors have a different
Mhm.
machine, BP
But
machine.
right, some doctors are also using this, I think, digital
Um,
ones.
See, then that is my personal this thing. I mean,
Okay.
right? Yeah, the age we grew up in, we don't trust them much. Maybe.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. Anybody else?
Dr. Srikanth here.
Yeah.
Additional question to what Bhagani just asked. What is
Yeah.
the best time? So, for example, I think many of us do have this digital equipment at home, which you keep a track of it with the app, etc., etc. Even if we say it's 5-10% here and there. But what is the best time? I mean, like for
Best
example,
time
sorry,
or to measure the BP.
to measure the BP, correct?
Okay, the best time is actually morning, mid-morning, 11 o'clock, because there's a slight evening rise in blood pressure.
I
Okay,
see.
so if you measure in the evening, it will be slightly risen. And normally, if you want to have a proper graph, you should have it at different times.
I see. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
and if
Okay.
you're on medication,
Okay.
it will depend basically the tablet, how long it is working. So after a certain time, you take the tablet, 2 hours after the tablet, you'll have absolutely normal blood pressure. After that, again, it will start rising. Okay?
Oh, that's an interesting point. You said at different cycles and then look at the graph,
Yeah, yeah,
depending upon what position of the day you are in
yeah,
or what condition you are in. Okay.
exactly.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome. Okay.
Yes, anyone else you wish to talk?
I think there is one question in the chat box. After 60, how much is normal? Again, I would say up to 130, 80, maximum 130 to 84. Beyond that, you are definitely going to need medication.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Priyanvada. It was a great.
Welcome.
Okay, if anyone is not having any questions, we can meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you.
Satwik,
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
I will take meditation tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. And thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
First, I will stop the recording.